Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Brunch with Bijal. Tonight we're hosting at the VOHRA house, and on the menu is a shrimp in a Parmesan butter sauce and fresh spinach. I'm gonna serve that with a side of Texas toast that has a little bit of garlic on it. For the kids, I'm making an angel hair spaghetti, and I'm gonna put in a little bit of butter, and some of the sides I'm gonna be making are really creative, so stay tuned and see how I make this amazing dish in less than 30 minutes so I can actually enjoy with the friends I have coming over. So one of my favorite sides is portabella mushrooms that are sauteed in butter and a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning. It's really easy. It actually creates a great aroma for the entire kitchen, and it's a great addition to any dish, whether it's salad, pasta, or the shrimp itself. So I like to keep it on the side and let people just pick at it or enjoy on one of the dishes I make tonight. So it's really simple. I have the pan here on a medium. I love using Breakstone's whipped butter. I feel like it's creamy. My kids even eat it off the spoon itself, and they think it's so delicious. And every once in a while, I don't mind. I think it's super cute. I'm about to use just 1 teaspoon, maybe a little bit more for love. And then I chopped up some portabella mushrooms. Why do I use portabella mushrooms? I find that the flavor of portabella mushrooms, once they're sauteed, just is so delicious and has this very smoky and just as delicious on its own. With white mushrooms, I feel like they're beautiful to look at, they're fun to add on, but there's no real flavor into them. So I'm basically just put in a bunch of mushrooms and a little bit of butter. So I love to add chicken broth into my dishes. One, it adds a lot of flavor that you normally don't get just by adding water. 2, chicken broth, vegetable broth, really any broth is really good for our insides. It's really good for our soul. So I like to add that and let it marry with the mushrooms themselves. So now that I added a little bit of broth, I'm gonna open my closet here and take out Montreal steak seasoning by McCormick. I love this stuff. Most people that use Montreal steak seasoning use it for steak, but I love the ingredients in here. It's a coarse salt, it's coarse garlic, coarse black pepper, and they've done a really good job of blending a few of those ingredients together that I will just sprinkle a little bit into the mushrooms themselves. And a little bit, I mean half a teaspoon. You don't want to over salt the mushrooms. You want it to basically keep the flavor in there. One thing to note about mushrooms is as they're cooking and as they're reducing and the mushrooms actually get smaller, it creates a mushroom broth of its own. So adding the chicken broth and the mushroom broth as they marry with the Montreal steak seasoning and the butter, voila, you have a dish of its own. So that's gonna be one of my sides, and all I do after I show you here, that's what it looks like, is I use a glass cover. Why do I use a glass cover when I cook? One, you guys do know I do have 4 children that always need me. I do have to stay hands-free. One thing about the glass cover on any pot is it allows for even cooking and allows all the moisture, and I'll show you just really quickly, allows all the moisture to stay within the pot itself. So it's basically all the goodies that are in this pan can marry together in a really beautiful way, and it's easy and it's fast. So now for the final entree. I'm gonna be making a shrimp with fresh spinach in a Parmesan sauce with a little bit of butter. So let me show you how it goes. So I have my pan here. What I'm gonna do is add, again, using Breakstones, I'm gonna do a tablespoon of butter. Now, easily enough, this is gonna be a 1-pot dish that will take about 20 minutes because shrimp cooks pretty easily. I've already washed and taken off the tails of the shrimp, so it's gonna be really fast to cook. And the one thing I'm gonna actually just make sure that it gets cooked thoroughly is gonna be the spinach. Now I used about half a bag of spinach. You can never have enough spinach. Spinach is actually my energy. A lot of people ask me, what is the secret to being so energetic with 4 kids and on my toes? And all my life I grew up eating a lot of vegetables. So having spinach as part of my regular diet for me, my husband, and my children, I feel like keeps us really active and really healthy at the same time. Plus, don't forget, there's a lot of vitamin C in here. So with something like the coronavirus, we can't get enough of that. So as my butter melted, I'm gonna throw in my spinach. Now spinach is going to wilt. In the middle of all of this, it'll reduce and it'll be a lot less than what it looks like. A lot of you guys may be asking, how do I have time to chop it? Well, you don't. You know, the best thing about spinach is actually you can use your hands. It doesn't matter what it looks like at the end of it because it's all gonna look really stringy. And someone smart really told me that a lot of the nutrients are actually withheld when you use your hands and chop it instead of using a knife. So I'm going to take my shrimp that I've already taken the tails off, throw it on top of the spinach like so. Don't forget there's a lot of salmonella in raw fish, raw meat. So I do have to wash my hands right after. So I'm gonna take a break and do that right now. On this, I used half a bag of spinach. I used 2 pounds of shrimp where I took off the tail. I washed the shrimp off completely to make sure it's clean. And all I'm gonna do, this is genius, guys, this is amazing. One of my favorite sauces from Trader Joe's is this amazing bruschetta. So this bruschetta has some fresh basil, has tomatoes, and has a little bit of onion. So I'm literally just gonna pour this on. Now, there's no need to waste anything ever in life. So there's a little bit of goodies in the bottle itself. You can take a little bit of milk, or even here I have some half and half. And I used about a teaspoon of that. Shake, shake, shake. And if my kids are around, they're all actually taking a nap, but they would love to do this part. So it's really fun to get your kids involved in the cooking process. So I'm going to empty out my bottle. And the last but not least is I'm gonna add a little bit of Parmesan. Now this is optional. I know there's a lot of people out there that are lactose intolerant or don't eat cheese or just don't want the calories. All good. You can leave this dish as is and it's so tasty. Or what I'm gonna do, just to make life a little fun, because we do have guests coming over, I might just not celebrating. So why not? Oh, jeez. I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit on. This is what it looks like before. Going back to my glass cover, I'm gonna cook the shrimp, the spinach, and the tomatoes on a low here. And in about 15 minutes or so, the whole dish will come together. The bruschetta, the fresh spinach, the shrimp, and it's good to go. So if you did want to pair it with the angel hair pasta on the side, you can. If you want to eat it with a garlic toast, you can. Or if you want to just eat it as is and just have it with a glass of wine, that's it. So my guests are almost here, and I'm going to show you the final outcome of all the dishes. So first and foremost, I showed you how I took portabella mushrooms with a little bit of Montreal steak seasoning and a little bit of chicken broth, and I came up with these amazing mushrooms. And you can use these as a garnish to the shrimp itself. The spaghetti with butter that I have here, you can just throw the mushrooms on it, and it just adds a really nice, crisp, smoky flavor. And it's a vegetable, so why not eat as many vegetables as you can? Now, oh, thank you, my amazing videographer.
Wow. So good.
Oh, Bella wants to see. Okay, Kajo. So, when you're cooking for children, you try to keep it simple. Spaghetti. Especially because when any kid has their friends over, they will, yes, the last thing they want to do is eat. They want to play. They're excited about new toys, and they're just excited to go to someone else's house, especially during this time. So I wanted to keep the dish for the kids really simple. I wanted to make sure they actually got here, ate it, and then we as parents can also enjoy our time knowing our kids are fed. Yes, ma'am, please. Okay. I used 2 pounds of shrimp and I used half a bag of spinach. Now, you saw how big everything looked earlier, and now it's actually sunk to half the size. And I added half a bottle of bruschetta. That's from the Trader Joe's store, which has amazing flavorful bruschetta. Bruschetta is tomatoes, onions, basil, with a little bit of Italian seasoning and herbs. Sure, baby. And so that dish came out really lovely, and it was really simple with some Parmesan cheese. And you know, you never know, like when two parents are getting together and they're just like happy to have company, especially during this crazy time, and to make a very long dinner that's all about the company, great conversations, and making a good experience out of it. So they're gonna be able to dip this amazing shrimp Parmesan bruschetta sauce with Texas toast. You know, keep these in your freezer. This is garlic flavored, and as you can see, like about 6 come in this packet, and it's usually $1, so it's also very economical. Put it in the toaster and just sit there and dip. Hi, baby. And of course, I will have some steak French fries on the side. I'm gonna put that in my foil trays that I have over there. And that's pretty much it. I mean, the kids will have the spaghetti. They can have some shrimp in it. If they like, do you want no shrimp? What are you gonna have, spaghetti with shrimp? Or just you're gonna have the shrimp? What are you gonna eat?
French fries.
Oh, French fries and pasta?
Oh, really? Oh, really?
So you never know. I mean, she may see the other kids eating it and want it, or just be happy that I made pasta and French fries for her for dinner, because I'm not that nice always. I gotta make sure they get their veggies in.
Favorite.
What are all these things? If they are your favorite, what is it?
Peppers, edamame, tomatoes, and cucumbers. But I don't like the yellow, only the orange and the red.
Okay, sure. You know, these are all different kinds of tomatoes, different flavors. So if you do want to try it, this yellow one is really amazing. How's it? Love you. Are you excited to have your friends over? So thanks for tuning in. It was so much fun to have you. And I hope you guys learned something and enjoyed it. And don't get scared to cook. It's not as hard as it seems, and it's so fun. Hey. Fine.